Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Pradeep Behere, Scientist, Dairy Microbiology Division, National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. Today I am going to talk development of high fiber foods under the paper Advances in Food Science and Technology. Now let us come to the introduction. Development of food products conforming to consumer needs is the biggest challenge for processing the food industries. Now we know that modern consumers are interested or they are more conscious about their health. Now they want to eat the healthy foods. At the same time, they also want the food should be tasty, attractive, safe for consumption, and naturally it should be a healthy. The functional foods have become an important and rapidly expanding segment of the food market. A lot of manufacturers are now coming into the picture. They are trying to sell this kind of foods because they have direct role on the human health. Foods are added with the nutrients such as vitamins and minerals that may give health effect. Now the fiber, once known as a waste material, now has got a lot of attraction and received the important position and is being considered as one of the vital nutrients. Dietary fiber is a group of food components which is resistant to hydrolysis by human digestive enzymes and necessary for promoting good health. This means these are not utilized or metabolized by our human system, but these are utilized by special or beneficial organisms which subsequently can give health benefit. It also promotes any beneficial physiological effects including relaxation and blood cholesterol attenuation as well as blood glucose attenuation. Dear friends, now we come to the learning objective of this module to study the dietary fibers, to study the role of dietary fibers in human health, to study the development of dietary fibers containing dairy and non-dairy foods. So, coming to the classification of dietary fibers, dietary fibers are classified into two groups by means of its solubility in water as a soluble and insoluble dietary fiber. Let us first of all talk about their sources. Cereal sources provide a major part of the insoluble dietary fiber, whereas fruits, vegetables, oats, plant gums, legumes, soybeans, psyllium husk, mucilages, seaweed, and mackerel polysaccharides are important sources of soluble dietary fiber. Among the insoluble, water insoluble fibers, there are major fiber components which include cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. So let us describe one by one. Cellulose. It is the main structural component of the plant cell wall, which is insoluble in concentrated alkali, soluble in concentrated acid, and its sources includes plants, mainly vegetables, sugar beet, and various plants. In the second fiber component, that is hemicellulose, it is a cell wall polysaccharides which contain a backbone of beta-1,4 glucosidic linkages which is soluble in dilute alkali, and the major source include cereal grains. Another component which is important, that is lignin. It's a non-carbohydrate cell wall component. It's a complex cross-linked phenyl propane polymer which resists the bacterial degradation, and it is mainly obtained from the weed plant. In the water soluble type of fiber, so there are mainly three type of fibers which are in water soluble. And first one is the pectin, which is a component of primary cell wall with a D-galactoronic acid as a principal components, generally water soluble and gel forming. The major sources include fruits, vegetables, legumes, sugar beet, and the potato. Second one is the gums. These are secreted at the site of plant injury by specialized secretory cells, food and pharmaceutical use, and its source is leguminous seed plants, guar, locust beans, seaweed extract, carrageenan, alginates, and microbial gums like xanthan and gelan. So we also know that the xanthan and gelan are generally used as a stabilizer to improve the physicochemical properties of the food product, especially in the dairy products. Then the third one is the mucilages. It is synthesized by the plant, prevalent desiccation of seed endosperm, food industry use, hydrophilic is a stabilizer. So and its sources includes the plant extract, gum acacia, gum caraya, and gum traganar. The effectiveness of the fiber is governed by the physical properties such as the particle size when ingested, water holding capacity, solubility, and viscosity in aqueous phase, affinity to bile acid salts, cationic binding exchange effect, fermentability in the bowel, and chemical identity and the proportion of the various constituents. Dietary fiber undergoes a very little changes during the processing of foods except its size reduction. Now friends, let us come towards the very important topic, the role of dietary fibers. Dietary fibers contribute positively towards the health quality of life of the consumer. There are many number of dietary fibers are available and which are excellent source of minerals like iron, copper, zinc, chromium and manganese. They are also important because they can be useful to uh, tackle nutritional deficiencies, because many of the times many peoples they are suffering with the nutritional deficiencies, and taking these dietary fibers can give them a very boost up by improving their nutritional content. Now the soluble fibers, we can say that they have a different role on the human system, and this varies from fibers to fibers. The soluble fibers, especially they are known for their hypocholesterolemic effect. That means if we take the soluble fibers, they can reduce the cholesterol level, whereas the insoluble fibers, it is known for the reduction of colon cancer. It means, as this name suggests, it is the insoluble fibers which cannot be utilized by our body, but it supports the growth of certain best beneficial bacteria, which ultimately results into control of certain carcinogenic compounds, and it leads to prevention of colon cancer. The physiological effects of dietary fibers makes it of interest to the consumer, food nutritionist, and the regulators. So now coming to the effect of dietary fiber on the human health. The beneficial effect of dietary fiber includes its role in preventing health disorders like constipation, obesity, and some diseases like hemorrhoids, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, diabetes, and cancer. Dietary fiber escapes digestion in the small intestine and passes into the colon, while certain dietary fibers undergo hydrolysis and fermentation by colonic bacteria. There are various dietary fiber which the human body cannot utilize, but these dietary fibers are useful for the friendly bacteria, which then subsequently utilizes this fiber and gives the various kind of health benefit. The fiber which is uh, not utilized by the human being but utilized by the bacteria are mainly the fiber which is undigested or unutilized by the bacteria are coming out with the fishes. The dietary fibers undergoing bacterial degradation include polysaccharides such as resistant starch, pectin, aniline, guar gum, and oligosaccharides. In contrast, the structural polysaccharides such as cellulose and lignin, which are usually a component of the complex fiber structure, are insoluble in water and not or hardly degraded by the intestinal bacteria during their passage through the colon. Wheat bran, for instance, belongs to the latter category because it is composed of a mixture of complex polysaccharide combined in a supramolecular structure. In general, both fermentable and non-fermentable fibers have a bulking effect which results in increased fecal output. In case of non-fermentable fiber, the extent of bulking depends on the inherent mass or water holding capacity. In contrast, the fermentable fibers results in an increase of the bacterial biomass which leads to an increase in the stool fecal output, so which we can consider as a positive effect on the human health. The fiber containing food provides some protection against colon and rectal cancer. It was suggested that the adult fiber consumption should be increased to 20 to 30 gram daily, which may help to reduce the risk of these cancers. A per capita daily intake of 30 gram of dietary fiber or 12 gram of dietary fiber per 1000 kilocalorie per day is considered desirable to be obtained from as varied sources as possible, with about one third being soluble fiber. Now just we have talked about the health benefit of the dietary fiber as a supportive agent for the microorganism. Now dietary fibers as a prebiotic. As we know that prebiotic is defined as a non-digestible food ingredients that beneficially affect the host by selectively stimulating the growth and or activity of one or limited number of bacteria in the colon. That means that dietary fibers, especially those are non-digestible but which support the growth of beneficial bacteria for like bifidobacterium, which then gives the positive effect or which stimulate the positive response from the human system. The concepts of probiotics arose from the observation that inulin and fructooligosaccharides selectively stimulate the growth of bifidobacteria. Although most research has been done on inulin and fructooligosaccharides, other non-digestible oligosaccharides including xylo-oligosaccharides, galacto-oligosaccharides, and isomalto-oligosaccharides have also been tested for their prebiotic effect. There are several prebiotic uh, dietary fibers are available in the market, and many more are considered as a candidate prebiotic. That means they are yet to be called as a prebiotic, but in the coming days or near future they can be given the prebiotic status. Those which have a different composition, which may include 1,4 or beta 1,2 linkages or different types of structure. The majority of the candidate prebiotics are oligosaccharide but also include polysaccharide. To serve as a bacterial substrate in the colon, a prebiotic may not be hydrolyzed or absorbed in the upper part of the gastrointestinal tract. Dietary carbohydrates that escape digestion in the small intestine undergo bacterial fermentation in the colon. This process affects the microbial ecology of the gastrointestinal tract and influences gut metabolism and function. Prebiotics are non-digestible but fermentable oligosaccharides that are specifically designed to change the composition and activity of the intestinal microbiota with the prospect to promote the health of the host. Dietary fiber and non-digestible oligosaccharides are the main growth substrate of gut microorganism. Their fermentation results in the acidification of the colon contents and the formation of short-chain fatty acid, which serve as fuels in different tissues and may play a role in regulation of cellular processes. So now let us talk about the interaction between food ingredients and the colonic microflora. So there are various food ingredients which positively or negatively affect the colonic microflora. Colonic microflora means the microorganisms which are present in the colon. So these are typically consist of positive microorganisms and negative. That means good bacteria and the bad bacteria. In the gut fermentation, there are number of molecules which are present, polyphenols, for example, flavonoids, phenolic acids, and lignans. In carbohydrate, there are number of molecules like dietary fibers, oligosaccharides. Probiotics, lactic acid bacteria and bifidobacteria. As we know that probiotics, these are the group of organisms which when given to the human beings that gives the positive health benefit. Health benefit means like anti-cancerous effect, cure the problem of lactose intolerance, and there are many uh, problems which are associated with the gastrointestinal tract are cured by the use of probiotics. Then the metabolites of the phenolics, that is a glycinol, a glycons, hydroxyphenolic acid, hydroxyphenolic acetic acid, hippuric acids. Then the metabolites of the carbohydrate, that is short chain fatty acids, gases, other metabolites, changes in the micro-flora like microbial activity, composition of micro-flora. So this in terms that how these various bigger molecules are converted into the smaller ones. That means the metabolites of the polyphenols, the metabolites of the carbohydrates, the metabolites of the activity of the probiotic organisms. Then there are some effect of this, that is physiological effects, which includes the local effect or systemic effect. That means ultimately the aim or the outcome of this interaction is the positive effect on the human health. That means it can modulate we can say the immunomodulation. It can modify or stimulate the immune system of the human. So coming to the dietary fiber requirements, how much quantity of dietary fiber is required for a human being? Even we can consider different age groups for adults, old aged or elderly peoples, we can say. So the dietary fiber RDAs for healthy adults are 38 gram per day for males, which ranging from 90 to 50 years, and 25 gram per day for females, which ranges from 90 to 50 years old. So that means that there is a lesser requirement for the females for dietary fibers. The RDS for the fiber decreases with the age. Male age 51 years and older need 30 gram per day. Female age 51 years and older need 21 mg per day. The requirement per fibers varies somewhat among the individuals. There are no tolerable upper intake levels for the fiber because fiber is a bulky. Excess eating is thought to be self-limiting because we do not want to eat highly bulk food. So there is no question of any adverse effect of the fiber. At very high intakes, if somebody takes fiber, can combine with the certain vitamins and minerals to make them unavailable to the body in a chemical process called chelation. So that means it will have some interaction with the vitamins and minerals, which subsequently may not come into the may not give the its desirable effect in the human body. However, eating a balanced diet, the chelating effect is not great enough to cause nutrient deficiencies. Even vegetarians whose diets are very high in fiber have normal vitamin and mineral levels. Fibers do carry water out of the body, which could be dehydrating. It is important to drink extra fruits to help fiber work. The short-term effect of a low-fiber diet is usually a constipation. So that means if you take the lower amount of fiber, that leads to a constipation. High fiber diet prevents constipation and hemorrhoids. It stimulates the muscles of the digestive tract to retain their tone over the long term. A low fiber diet may increase the risk of heart diseases, strokes, diabetes, and gastrointestinal conditions. When increasing fiber intake, it is best to do it gradually over several weeks to prevent stomach aches, bloating, gas, and diarrhea. Regular physical exercise and higher fiber intake were associated with the reduced risk of constipation even after controlling for numerous factors. Women who are physically active daily and had approximately 20 gram of dietary fiber daily had a threefold lower prevalence of constipation compared with the women who rarely exercised and had about 7 gram of fiber daily. So now coming to the fiber enriched foods, that means now people are trying to incorporate fiber as there are various health benefits, or we can say positive effects, not only in the food but also on the human health. There are growing concern of using the dietary fibers in the food. Fibers in the foods can change their consistency, texture, rheological behavior and sensory characteristics of the end product. Dietary fiber holds all the characteristics required to be considered as an important ingredient in the formulation of functional food due to its beneficial health effects. Among food enriched in fiber, the most known and consumed are the breakfast cereals and bakery products. Dietary fibers, as I have told, it has have textural, rheological and sensorial effect on the food product. It has been now tried to improve the viscosity, body and texture, sensorial attributes like flavor, and color and appearance by using the high fiber content. Now people has tried to prepare functional bread and biscuit. In this, the value of the bread and biscuits have been tried to improve. Wheat flour supplemented with fenugreek fiber improved the functional quality of the dough used for the bread making. Traditionally, biscuit was converted to a functional food by the addition of vitamin B12, folic acid, vitamin C, and prebiotic fiber, while reducing salt and sugar. One of the authors suggested that 15% of the orange peel and pulp could be incorporated as an ingredient in making biscuits, as they are a suitable source of dietary fiber with associated bioactive compound. In addition, uh, the traditional biscuit was lacking in some of the vital compounds which has been tried to improve upon. So now the people have tried to prepare cakes also by using various types of dietary fibers. Cakes prepared from 25% apple pomace and wheat flour blend had high acceptable quality. Addition of apple pomace also avoids the use of any other flavoring ingredients, as it had already a pleasant fruity flavor. So that means use of pomace have very good effect on in incorporating cakes, which also do not require any additional flavoring agent or additives. Pineapple cores showed a potential to be a good source of dietary fiber and cellulose, which can be used as a functional ingredient for bakery and meat products depending on its type and particle size. For example, a large size 100 to 170 mesh was found to be more suitable for oil reduction of cake, duff net, and increased cake volume, while small size 170 mesh was more suitable for reducing shrinkage and improving the texture of beef burgers. High fiber toast bread made from white flour, equal proportion of coarse and fine bran at 20%. Wheat germ at 7.5% plus sodium stearyl 2 lactylate at 0.5% level was found to possess softer texture and improved sensorial quality than the whole wheat flour bread. People have tried to incorporate fiber and mineral. So in fiber and mineral enriched pan bread with excellent quality can be prepared by replacing the wheat flour with defatted rice bran up to 5% level without affecting the internal and external characteristics of the bread. So now let us talk about the fiber containing dairy products and beverages. These fibers have been tried to incorporate in various dairy or non-dairy foods. In ice cream and yogurt, we generally add the fiber ingredients such as alginates, guar gums, and cellular gels to provide viscosity, improve emulsion, form freeze or thaw stability, control melting properties, reduce synersis, promotes formation of smaller ice crystals, and facilitate extrusion. So that means it when we add the fiber, it gives the textural benefit. There are some other examples like guar gum, pectins, and inulin. They are also added in other products like cheese as it decreases its fat content without losing its organoleptic characteristics. These are generally the polysaccharides which not only gives the uh, textural properties but also helps in reduction of addition of additives. In case of beverages and drinks, the addition of dietary fiber increases their viscosity and stability. Since they form a gelling agent, they can improve the consistency of the product. So there are number of fiber which have been tried in milk and other products. What fiber can be incorporated into the milkshakes, instant type breakfast drinks, fruits and vegetables, juice, iced tea, sports drinks, and wine. There are other dairy products like fermented milk products, for example like dahi, yogurt, lassi. They have been also tried to incorporate with the fiber material. In fermented milk, people have used citrus fiber of particularly orange and lemon, and which has been found to give very good acceptability. In another way, yogurt fortified with a 3% date fiber resulted with a similar acceptability as the control yogurt. So there is always concern when we try to fortify certain things, it should match with the uh, sensorial or organoleptical properties of the natural product. So it means that even we increase the dietary fiber up to certain extent, it will give the taste of a natural product. As both the fiber and yogurt are well known for their beneficial health effects, together will constitute a functional foods with commercial applications. So, coming to the next topic, the fiber containing meat products. Dietary fibers have also been used to improve the quality of meat product. Dietary fiber based on pectins, cellulose, soya, wheat, maize or rice isolates and beet fiber can be used for improving the texture of meat products such as sausage, salami, and at the same time are adequate to prepare low-fat products such as dietetic hamburgers. Also, they have the ability of increasing the water retention capacity. People have used these dietary fibers in the meat matrix, which contributes to maintain its juiciness, which is desirable in the meat. In the production of synthetic meats, especially meat analogs from the plant protein, addition of xylem mucoids aids in modifying the texture to impart a meat-like chewiness. What brand or what fiber appears to be a most suitable fat replacement in the ground beef and pork sauces products due to its ability to retain water and emulate particle definition in ground meat in terms of both color and texture. That means so people have used both brand just to improve the texture of the meat and improve the color of the meat. In an attempt to develop low salt, low fat and high fiber functional chicken nuggets, uh, people have tried to incorporate different fibers like pea, hull flour, gram flour, apple pulp and bottle gourd in different combination at different level. So this has shown that when we use 10% level, it gives a better quality to the meat. So dear students, so far you have got the idea about the these modules. Now let us come towards the conclusion of this module. Many of these isolated dietary fiber ingredients have certain properties which directly influence the development of food products to impact their production, eating quality and self stability. Use of these dietary fibers also affect the keeping quality of the foods. Many of the time it has been found that dietary fiber do not reduce the shelf life of the food. Second point is that the emphasis on the physiological properties of a fiber has many more advantages, particularly for the low viscosity fibers that do not bind substantial amounts of water and can be used at the physiological levels in food products. For example, inulin, partially hydrolyzed gargum, polydextrose and resistant maltodextrin. By using a third point, the increasing the number of new fibers for food texture and functional food user also creates a new research opportunities in both nutrition and food sciences. So there is a lot of concern about consuming the dietary fibers. Nowadays people are more concerned and they want this kind of dietary fibers should be incorporated into their food so that they can be enriched with the health effect, and also the nutritional values of the food products can be improved. Thank you.